Good morning, students. I hope all of you are fine. Students, in last class, we started our chapter Federalism, in which we cover the following topics. But the remaining topics we will discuss today. Residuary subject, more features of federalism in India. How is federalism practiced in India? Decentralization in India, and the last one, structure of decentralized government in India. Students, in last class we discussed about the three lists of subjects: union list, state list and concurrent list, and which included the many subjects like in union list 97 subjects, state list 57 subject and concurrent list 47 subject. But there are more subjects which were not included any list at the time of constitutions were written. Then what about subjects that do not fall in any three list? Subjects like computer software that came up after the constitutions was made. And according to our constitution, the union government has the power to legislate on these subjects, and these subjects were called residuary subjects. Okay, now the next one, the more features of federalism in India. And in more features, the first one, special powers to some states. Students, some states enjoy a special status, and the Jammu and Kashmir has its own constitutions. The many provisions of Indian constitutions are not applicable to this state without the approval of the state assembly, and the Indian who are not permanent resident of this state cannot buy the land or house here. Students, before 2019, Jammu and Kashmir was its own constitutions, and many provisions of Indian constitutions were not applicable in this state without the approval of state assemblies, and no one can live here with permanent residence. But in 2019, Article 370 removed from the list, and now Jammu and Kashmir, not a state, it divides into two union territory, J&K and Ladakh. There are some units of the Indian Union which enjoy very little power, and these are areas which are too small to become an independent state, but which could not be merged with any of existing states. And these areas like Chandigarh or Lakshadweep or the capital city of Delhi are called the union territories. And these territories do not have the power of state, and the central government has special power in running these areas. All of you know that except 28 states in India, there are the units of union territory, and there are 8 union territories in India which have some special powers, and these territories do not have the power of states. Actually, central governments take the decisions on the behalf of these union territories. Now, the next one, how is federalism practiced in India? Students, in federalism comes linguistic state, language policy, center-state relations. And in linguistic state, the creation of linguistic state was the first and major test of democratic politics in our country. If you look at the political map of India, when it began its journey as the democracy in 1947 and that of 2019, you will be surprised by the extent of changes, and many old states have vanished and the many new states have been created. As you can see in the map of India, these are the two different map of India. The first one 1950 and the second one 2019, and you can see the clear differences in the state. Areas, boundaries and name of the states have been changed. All of you know that many states have changed due to their ethnic and cultures and languages. Next, in 1947, the boundaries of several old states of India were changed in order to create the new state, and this was done to ensure that the people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. And some states were created not on the basis of language but to recognize the differences based on culture, ethnicity, of geography. And these include states like Nagaland, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand. Yes, students, some states were created on the basis of languages and some on the basis of their culture, ethnic situations, and the geography. And the first linguistic state was Tamil Nadu. The formation of linguistic state has actually made the country more united and it has made the administration easier. Now, the next one, language policy. In language policy, our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. Hindi was identified as the official language, but Hindi is the mother tongue of the only about 40% of Indians. Therefore, there were many safeguards to protect other languages beside Hindi, and there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. A candidate is an examination conducted for the central governments, and positions may opt to take the examination in any of these languages. And state to have their own official language. Much of the government work take place in the official language of the concerned state. Unlike Sri Lanka, the leader of our country adopted a very cautious attitude in spreading the use of Hindi. According to the constitutions, the use of English for official purpose was to stop in 1965. Yes, students, when we talk about the languages, all of you know that there is no national language in our country, but Hindi is identified a official language, and English stopped in 1965. Yes, all of you know that students in South, the people speak only regional languages or English language. So the English language cannot be stopped as an official language. And in South, the official language uses English. And you can see in this image 22 languages. The first one, Assami, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Malayalam, Manipur, Marathi, Nepali, Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Sindhu, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Bodo, Santhal, Maithili, and Dogri. These 22 languages included in our constitution. Next, center-state relationships. For a long time, the same party ruled both at the center or most of the state, and this meant that the state government did not exercise their rights as autonomous federal units. As and when the ruling party at the state level was different, the parties that ruled at the center tried to undermine the power of the state. In those days, the central government would often misuse the constitutions to dismiss the state government that were controlled by rival parties, and this undermined the spirit of federalism. Next, all these changed significantly after 1990. This period saw the rise of regional political party in many states of the country, and this was also the beginning of the era of coalition governments. I think all of you know about the coalition government, when no single party got a clear majority in Lok Sabha. The major national party had the enter into an alliance with many parties, including the several regional parties, to form a government at the center. That will be coalition government. Now the next one, decentralization in India. In decentralization in India, when power is taken away from the central and state governments and given to local government, it is called the decentralization. As you can see, some powers provided to local governments. And the basic ideas behind the decentralization is that there are a large number of problems and issues which are best settled at the local level. People have better knowledge of problems in their localities, and they also have the better ideas on where to spend the money and how to manage things more efficiently. And the beside at the local level, it is possible for the people to directly participate in decision making. Yes, to understand the problems of the local peoples, that was the main motto to create the local level of government. The local government is the best way to realize the one important principle of democracy, namely local self government. Next, a major step taken in 1992 to decentralized India. Yes, to start the decentralization in India, there are some major steps which were taken in 1992 to decentralize India. Now it is constitutionally mandatory to hold the regular elections to local government bodies in regular periods, means in 5 years. Seats are reserved in the elected body and executive head of these institutions for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward classes. At least one third of all positions are reserved for women. An independent institution called the State Election Commission has been created in each state to conduct the panchayat and municipal election. And the state government are required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. The nature of sharing varies from state to state. Actually, students, there are some seat reserved for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward classes and women. And state elections commissions created in each state to conduct the panchayat and municipal elections. Panchayat in villages and municipal elections in town and cities. Now the structure of centralized government in India. The rural local government is popularly known by the name Panchayati Raj. Each village or a group of villages in some states has a Gram Panchayat. This is council consisting of the several ward members and often called Panch and a president or Sarpanch, and there are directly elected by all adult populations living in that wider village, and it is decision making body of the entire village. Yes, the Sarpanch is the president of village and the Panch are the member of ward. And next, Panchayat work under the overall supervision of Gram Sabha and all voters in the villages are its members. It has to meet at least twice or thrice in a year to improve the annual budgets of the Gram Panchayat and to review the performance of the Gram Panchayat. And next, local government structure goes right up to the district level. A few Gram Panchayats are grouped together to form what is usually called the Panchayat Smiti, block or mandal. And the member of this representative body are elected by all the Panchayat members in that area. All the Panchayat Smiti or mandal in a district together. Okay. All of you know that the district Panchayats. So we are talking about the district Panchayat. Constitute the Jilla District Parishad, and most member of the Jilla Parishad are elected, and member of Lok Sabha and MLA of that district and the some other officials of other district level bodies are also its member. And Jilla Parishad chairperson is political head of the Jilla Parishad. Yes, who is the political head of Jilla Parishad? Jilla Parishad chairperson. Similarly, the local government bodies exist for urban areas as well. Municipalities are set up in towns, and big cities are constituted in two municipal corporations. Both municipalities and municipal corporations are controlled by elected bodies and consisting of the people's representative, and the municipal chairperson is the political head of the municipality. In a municipal corporation, such as the official is known as mayor. As you can see in this image, local government divide into two parts, in town municipality and in villages panchayat. And in panchayat, The third level, which is known as district panchayat. On second level, intermediate panchayat, and the third, the last level, gram panchayat, which is on village level. And municipality, in municipality, the municipal corporations, and the second one, municipal council, and the third one, nagar panchayat. Okay students, now your chapter have completed. I hope all of you understand. Thank you. Have a nice day.